Hey everybody. Um, I actually sort of planned what I'm going to talk about today, which is going to be my motivations in my life. So I was going to try to start, like, just work through my life talking about this. And so here we go. I, you know, who as a kid really has motivations? I mean, you see those kids on TV. They really want to make a change for the world, and they set up fundraisers and stuff like that. Um, but there's like a lot of kids that just go through their whole childhood unaware, and they just flow. They don't really have any thoughts about what they want to do. And for me, that was one of those kids that um, I didn't even think about the future really. Um, And as for motivations, since I didn't have a plan, I didn't have a motivation, I guess I was just being a kid. And um, I think my dad was trying to give me motivation to get into mechanical stuff, which is why he would give me VCRs and electrical things to take apart and gave me tools and stuff, which has been very helpful um, because I'm pretty good at taking things apart now, and uh, and I really like to figure out how things work. Um, just anything from how a computer processes things, like since I work at Walmart, if and if I want to figure out why the register messed up this way, um, why well, like I mean, I guess that's really the only example I could give at work is the computer trying to figure out why it does what it does, why it does it wrong, um, what could have happened since then that made it do that, and VCRs is trying to figure out what part goes to what part and why does that run and what does this piece do, and let me think what else. Um, Normally, if I have to fix something, I I try to just look at it first and figure out what's wrong on my own, and then if I need help, I'll go find, I go gather the information to help me out. But I normally like to try to figure it out myself first, just to see if I can, to try to test myself, sort of to test my mechanical skills, or not really skills. I can't think of the word. Um, So that was like a motivation that my dad was trying to give me when I was little, and it has turned into a motivation recently. Um, but really, I was like unaware and sort of unmotivated until like well into high school. Um, I just, I was growing up in the age of video games, so I played a lot of video games, and um, I was kind of, I was a very feely, open, unaware kid, and I kind of find that's extremely cringy. I was looking at some old YouTube videos um, from my other channel, and it's like, no, why are you talking like that? Why are you making all those weird movements? Why are you um, so unaware of how you act? And um, it's kind of like it's brought me shame, and as I became more aware, as people like either told me that I was acting like I was a show off, or or as I just realized how people reacted to me in high school, like people my age, instead of me being weird around the older kids or whatever. or the younger kids, I was just like, oh, I was doing that. And so I would try to flip it. So going from someone thinking that I was a show off to now I'm closed off and I don't like to take compliments because, um, I mean, it's like, do I really deserve it? Um, or like you're just saying that to be nice, and you don't have to be nice to me. I'd rather you didn't. I'd rather know the truth, um, because of those people that told me the truth in the past that hurt. And it's like, how can anybody else think anything but the same thing? That how can anyone else have a truth about me unless it hurts me? The truth kind of has to be painful almost. And that's how I that's how I grew up thinking, until extremely recently. But talk more on that later. So high school, I like found a motivation. I My dad was in the army band, um, 257, and it really he almost pushed me to be into music too, because I wanted to be just like my dad. Who doesn't? What kid doesn't really want to be like their dad if they're like a good role model? And so I got really into music. I got drum lessons. I played piano. My dad played accordion before, and I asked him if I could learn on his. So I learned accordion. I played trumpet. I tried to learn trombone. I dabbled in other instruments, and because I really thought that was what I wanted to be. I wanted to be able to have fun, not have to control other people. In fact, I kind of prefer people telling me what to do and them being confident enough in me that I can do it, which is kind of like playing in an orchestra. Someone gives you the piece. This is what you have to do the thing, and I trust that you can do the thing. Which, by the way, is something that really bothered me in high school band and middle school band. Like people not taking the music seriously. Um, like if you're gonna be in band, at least put some effort into it. Don't just like talk in the corner and mess around on the instrument. Like this is for some people it was something serious, and for some and for me it was both serious and it was really fun to be able to play music, especially the harder pieces, to push myself. Um, and like marching band, I was in pit, so I'd play mallets, marimbas, xylophones, stuff like that. And I really once I learned how to play that, like once I figured out, oh, it's piano but with sticks, I was like, oh my god, I love this. And so I really pushed myself to learn the music, to memorize it, to play faster, to play more difficult things. But the only issue with that is once I memorize something, or once I learn, yeah, like once I memorize something and I'm comfortable with it, I start to mess up. Like I'll start to speed up and slow down, or I'll I'll just mess it up somehow. Like playing accordion, once I know the music and it's in my muscle memory, I will tend to um, like accidentally speed it up, and then I'll start messing up. Like going slow forces me to do it right. Um, so yeah, high school, I thought my motivation was all about um, being a musician and sort of being mostly free and being able to do something that I love. Um, and also being in the band, they were my tribe, even though I always felt kind of left out in them because I didn't. I had a couple friends. I mean, the band is like a family, but none of them were really my friends. It's more like I was the band's friend. Like, and I really wish that I had the connections with some of those people. I was never like, I was invited like once to someone's thing, like someone's party of someone in the band, but I wasn't like part of that family. Like I was in the band, but not in the family. And I took like 5 music classes in my senior year because I really thought I was going to be a musician. And then once I got out of high school, I was like, there's so many other more talented people than me. There's no way this is going to be viable for me. I'm not good enough at this thing at playing music to even get into the army band. Like even if I try, I just keep messing up. So I kind of gave that up. And and I went to college anyway just to see if I'd figure it out. Um, and I kind of wish I had heard about like the whole gap year thing. Like some people go and find themselves before going to school. Kind of wish I did that. But I went to school and I was working. I was just doing general studies. Um, I figured I'd want something in the sciences because I like to tinker. But I ended up um, going down a dark path while I was in school, and I failed some classes, and I couldn't pay the financial aid, so I had to I had to stop school until I could pay that off. And and then I was just working instead of pursuing any sort of goal. Um, and I guess I was fine. I mean, I wasn't really fine with that. It was kind of pushing me down further, um, because even though I was at work, it just felt like I was just all this mundane work is just killing me. Um, and I couldn't like I didn't really talk to people. Um, and the highlight of my day was the end of the day when I hopefully got to talk to my online friends that I felt. I mean, we all enjoyed the same thing. We all chose to be in a group together, and so I felt like they were my family. And I still keep in touch with some of them because I really enjoy hanging out with them or talking to them. I can't really hang out with them because there are other places. But um, and then eventually we all just stopped talking or hanging out as often because new games came out. People, like relationships changed in the group, um, and um, then I ended up with my ex at the near the end of that group, and then I had another motivation, which was to please her. That was like my whole life was a someone like she asked me out, so I figured she liked me enough to um, I mean, no one's ever liked me enough to A, ask me out, and B, to actually even talk to me. Um, so I thought it was kind of special, and I wanted to hold on to that someone actually liked me for me. So I that was my motivation was um, to give her a life that I thought she deserved at the time, to allow her to have a bit more freedom because she had her 2 kids, and if I was there she could do things, and if she loved me I would love her and the kids, and I would do anything to keep us all together, and be to improve the whole family's situation and all that. And once she left me, I kind of lost all that motivation. I quit the post office. I was really close to quitting Walmart too, and just not having a job. Um, and I attempted suicide a couple times. I just lost all my motivation, and I didn't feel like I could go back to to not having that motivation to just go back to the mundane isolation. Um, and I realized that I needed that motivation to keep me alive. And I still had my son at the time, and then I lost him. And then I really had no reason for anything, to do anything. And so for motivation, I decided to go back to school, like just fresh start, and go back to Walmart just to make money when I'm not in school. And so far, so good. I'm not in school yet. It doesn't start until it doesn't start for a couple of weeks. But hopefully, this is the motivation I need. That this goal that I'm working towards will allow me to actually make something of my life and go towards something that allows me to be myself and maybe not have to control people. I don't like management uh, positions at all. I tried it at Walmart before. I just don't like dealing with the people complaining. Like I can handle them. I really don't want to, though. I'd rather leave it for. Um, I would always call over one of the other managers that was on my in my level. If they were giving me a hard time because I knew that she would be like, "No, this is what's going on. I'm not gonna help you." And being in retail kind of gives you that level headedness, which I definitely gained. Um, and I could tell the customers now like I was okay with it. Um, but even now, I still have problems with like telling people no and and refusing to give them what they want. Like just last night, a guy was trying to return mostly used um, container of protein powder and a mostly used tube of toothpaste. And I'm glad I checked it before I did the return. And and but I called that manager over to as like a backup, like when we told him no, and he started flipping out a little bit. He's like, "You need to calm down, man." To my manager, even though she was perfectly calm. I mean, she's been doing this for like 20 years or something. But I'm trying to become more comfortable in myself and I'm trying to do things that I didn't do before. Like I'm trying to make the connections with the people, like I talked about in another video. I'm trying to reach out to people and make the friends that I didn't have before. Like I want to find my tribe. I want to find the people that agree with me and the people that will be there for me. And I do have those friends that were there for me after the breakup. And right now they're my closest friends, the closest group of friends. They're my tribe right now. And even though we don't agree on a lot of things, which I haven't told them because I don't want to bring, you know, I don't want to bring up disagreements between us if what we have is good. And that was probably a problem in my relationship with my ex too, is that I didn't want to bring painful stuff up, and she didn't want to talk about it if I did, and then she would just get upset about it. But that's me pushing things onto her, when, even though some of the problems were me and whatever. But at least I tried, right? And I talked when it mattered. So yeah, working on working on creating a better life for myself, doing the things that I don't like doing, which is going out and using the play animal, gathering for the tribe, gathering with the tribe, be a part of them, um, and and hopefully find my purpose in life, because there are things that I like to do, but right now I don't see any way for me to do that unless I go to school to become better at it, and and yeah, once I know it, I can do something with my life. Um, I think even just making this video has been just talking things out. All these videos really have been helpful in me determining my type, my MBTI type. Um, I actually realized that I have blast a little bit higher up. That I may not be sleep first. I've been kind of making it a point that even if I sleep in late, I try to do some sort of workout, or I try to make at least this video so I can understand myself better, so I can improve myself better, um, and hopefully by becoming fit and becoming knowledgeable and owning a thing, I can make something of myself. I can be happier with myself.